everybody, and welcome back to 31 Days of Indie Horror. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and thank you guys so much for this is the third season of the show. And to kick it off, I decided to have two people who've already been on the show before. Please welcome Madeline Deering. How you doing, Madeline?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. And
Good.
we also have John Ward here. How you doing, John?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. We are going to be talking about the 2013 movie Axe Giant, Wrath of Paul Bunyan. I always forget Paul Bunyan's name for some reason, even when saying this title. So first, Madeline, you had said before that you sort of had seen this movie maybe years ago, but you weren't sure.
Yeah, I think so. It sounded kind of familiar. I definitely think I saw bits and pieces. Not sure I saw the whole thing till now. Thought I saw it on SyFy channel, but I definitely could be wrong. But it definitely looks like something that would have been made for SyFy channel. So
yeah, it's got those kind of feelings. How about you, John? Had you seen it before?
I saw it a while back. I remember originally hearing that they were making a Paul Bunyan film called Bunyon. And so once I found out that it was actually retitled Axe Giant, I watched it. I'm not sure where I saw it though. I might have just rented it. I don't know. But so this is my second viewing.
Awesome. Yeah. It was a fun movie. I'm not gonna lie. And it's got a stellar cast. But before we go into that, I want to give a little background on it. It was directed by Gary Jones, very famous for doing Mosquito. He also did he worked on Xena the Warrior Princess, Crocodile 2 Death Swamp. He has done a lot of low budget films and whatnot. And he actually was one of the Michigan guys that like Sam Raimi knew and everything. Like he worked on like Josh Becker's films. Or no, actually, no, he wasn't. I take that back. I am completely wrong. But he did know them from Xena, the Warrior Princess and stuff, and he did a lot of visual effects for them and everything. And so I remember
Hercules and Xena.
Yep. And I remember Josh Becker actually being in Mosquito, so, and that was one of the guys who directed for Xena, and he's a good friend of Sam Raimi's. So, but yeah, he did the visual effects for Boogeyman 3, which was probably because of the Sam Raimi connection. So, yeah, there you go.
Spiders. Don't forget Spiders. Spiders is a good one.
Definitely a really good one. I hadn't seen that in forever either. And I know they did Spiders 2, and I remember that one as well. So
is that like Spiders 3D, or is that a different Spiders?
I think that's a different Spiders.
Yeah, Spider 3D. That's its own thing. He did Spiders, but he did not do Spiders 2.
Okay.
Yeah, no, Spiders 2 Feeding Ground, which took place on the boat, like the cargo ship.
I feel like I saw these years ago.
He also did Jolly Roger, Massacre at Cutter's Cove, which we reviewed last year for Indie Film Cafe. And on top of that, what's really funny is because Jeff Miller, who wrote for and produced Jolly Roger, also wrote and produced this one. So that's a pretty cool
there you go
thing there. Actually, if I had to I say I like Axe Giant a lot better than Jolly Roger after rewatching both films. It used to be the other way around. I think I used to like Jolly Roger a lot more. But I don't know. Things have maybe changed with my movie viewing stuff. So let's get into it. Story wise, I mean, there's actually a lot of story here that I wasn't expecting. What did you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the characters like I like that they're kind of like troubled, not even troubled teens, but they're there to try to on their last chance to better themselves or whatever. I don't think the characters are like that memorable in general. I mean, it has some memorable characters like the cop and no whatever. But it's like teens getting killed. Your basic slasher movie, but the story behind Paul Bunyan and stuff and Joe Estevez is always fun. But
Exactly. What about you, John?
I thought the characters were okay.
Yeah.
None of them stand out except for really, Joe Estevez, because he chews the scenery, or he chews the woods. So he's always entertaining to watch. It's great having Dan Haggerty in there, since I'm a huge Grizzly Adams fan. And of course, he was in the amazingly awful but great film Elves. So, you got to love a movie with a guy that has a Nazi elf next to him. So, story-wise, it was okay. I mean, I know the story of, I don't know if you guys do, of Paul Bunyan and Ben and stuff like that. So it was interesting to see it give a backstory of that he was younger and grew, and Babe was his best friend. And I said Ben, I meant Babe. Babe was his best friend and all that. So I do love that they eat Babe. I think that's pretty funny.
That was very that shocked me a little bit, to be honest. Which was good. I like that. I like the backstory. It reminded me at first that Victor Crowley, kind of Hatchet.
I thought the same thing. The makeup and everything in that opening scene looks a lot like Victor Crowley.
Yeah, and in fact, I was like, okay, because I was very confused rewatching. I hadn't seen it in a while, and I was very confused because I was like, wait, how does he's not a giant, right now?
Yeah.
He's just this little guy just running around killing everybody. With a deformed face, okay. And then we later get the actual backstory, and we see the big giant version of him, which I thought was pretty cool.
Terrifying.
Well, remember with the way that Paul looks, that's Robert Kurtzman.
It is.
I saw that. I thought it was cool that he worked on this.
Yeah, he was also a co-producer on it too.
Yep.
And he also was, him and Gary Jones were the ones dragging him across town when he was being dragged or whatever. The Paul Bunyan was being dragged, because they're credited as guys dragging, man dragging Paul Bunyan. And I was like, wait, there's two men dragging a big ass giant, because I read the IMDb before I saw that scene. And I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to drag a giant. I want to see this. And it was the little version of them.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool.
Do you mean in the movie as characters, or they were dragging in an effect?
Oh, no, they were in the movie. The scene where it was a flashback scene of him being in chains and being brought around the square or whatever. He was dragged by two guys. You can't see their face, I don't think.
Oh, okay.
But one was Robert Kurtzman and one was Gary Jones. So I was like,
oh, gotcha. Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't notice that. I did notice all those flashbacks were obviously green screen.
Yeah,
I noticed a lot of the movie was green screen.
Yeah,
I feel a lot of the movie, except for maybe the cabin, but
yeah,
and maybe some of the woods. But most of the other stuff was definitely green screen.
Because it's interesting. This definitely seems to be a film that was really thought about, because Gary Jones is the director, he's the producer, he's one of the story writers, he's screenplay. Robert Kurtzman it's his effects shop, he's co-producer. So obviously this wasn't just a thrown together, done overnight movie. So it's interesting that a lot of this is green screen.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, it would have been harder to really to do Paul Bunyan that way, where it's practical effects for a giant. You'd have to do I forgot what it's called, not stop motion, but something where the character would have to be enlarged, and everything, and miniatures.
Not that stuff. That I would expect to be green screened or whatever. But it's the the flashback with the town, like that western town that they're in, is fake, and they're standing in front of a green screen, and it's just people. And if this is shot in LA, which I believe I saw that some of it was, or most of it was, there's ghost towns that you could go to and shoot. So I wonder if it was a budgetary thing or something like that. So, and I also, one thing I did not dig, I did not like the combination of practical effects and visual effects. I did not think it worked.
You didn't?
No, I thought the after effect, like when you had the, I don't know, whoever the guy was that brought them up to the cabin. I'm not really sure what his position is, if he's a cop or a sheriff or whatever he is. But when he gets cut in half, badass, that it looked crappy when he was cut in half, but when he was on the ground cut in half, and was practical, it looked good.
Yeah, I noticed that with a lot of the effects.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. It didn't bother me. Maybe I'm just so used to like really crappy visual effects that just when I see it, if it looked good enough, you know what I mean? Where I'm like, the guy got cut in half, or whatever, it just doesn't bother me. I don't know.
It doesn't bother me because the movie's already so goofy. I think it just adds to it.
Yeah.
I took a video and sent it to my friend, like whenever the axe giant's like picking up that girl from inside the cabin, and like the girl's like obviously like terrible like Nintendo 64 CG. And it's so fucking funny.
At least it moved.
Just made me laugh.
Because I think they made an animatronic, you know what I'm trying to say? Female, that copy of her, and it moved a little bit. So I think they put something in there, maybe a battery or maybe it was remote control. Probably, when Paul grabs it, it's a doll. And it moves a little bit. So I give them credit for that, because you can see the legs move a little bit and the arms move. I didn't like Paul's face. I didn't like how they did that. I didn't think that it looked great. The effect was fine, but I guess maybe the style that they went for, I wasn't big on. I liked the way Babe looked. He was kind of, that was all like, cool. Like CGI. Yeah, he looked kind of cool, but I also didn't get that this was Paul Bunyan, that's not what Paul Bunyan is. This is like an ogre or something, it's like some guy who lives in a cave.
Maybe they were like originally writing an ogre movie and they just decided like mid writing to just make it a Paul Bunyan movie, because that's kind of what it feels like. It feels like it's an ogre movie that had a backstory of Paul Bunyan. It's just, but the only other thing I don't like, honestly, is just I don't like the fact that he grew, because that's like that and everything, that he was like all this backstory like that, because that's not the tall tale, no pun intended,
Well, and that's what it is. That's the, Joe Estevez mentions it about, creating the Grand Canyon and all that type of stuff. So he is supposed to be a giant, but I don't think that, I think that's all made up stuff, is them saying that he grew, so I like, because what was the point of having the girl when they say, oh, well, you look just like his lost love? She didn't really do anything. He just once kind of goes, Martha, or whatever her name is. And then that's about it. It's not like the plot really, revolved around it, Well,
I think part of it was that there actually he did have a long lost love, in the I guess the legend, because I looked it up and I just looked up something about Paul Bunyan and I said, how Google has those like questions. One of the questions was who was his, girlfriend, and it did have that girl's name in there. So I'm like, oh, well, they got that right, but I just don't remember her being part of the story,
Yeah, there wasn't much emphasis. It was like something they added on to just say, oh.
No.
Yeah, you would think it would almost be like a King Kong type thing where he would take her back to the cave and then, and try to seduce her or whatever it is. And then, and she's like, ew, leave me alone. You're gross. And then, try to escape and stuff. But it's none of that came into it. So I really didn't get and I mean, just story wise, it's like the idea I think is okay. I think the idea is fine. But it's why he gets Babe's horn back, the antler or whatever it is, and then what with that? It's a horn, right? Yeah, it's a horn.
Yeah.
And why does he still attack?
Well, they still, disturbed the peace or whatever, disturbed his
Well,
but he got the guy who did it. He even came out of the cabin or whatever that is, and said, "It's me. Take me."
Reason any slasher goes after a bunch of kids who disturb something, like, oh, one's guilty, all are. He just wants to kill them. I don't know.
So the way that
I don't know. I'm bullshitting here.
The way that I sort of see it is Joe Estevez comes in and tells them that. Like they said, they need to get that back to the grave so that he can, whatever. But the thing is, Joe Estevez character is a kook, so who knows if he's even right. And B, on top of that, they never brought it back to the grave site. So had they brought it back to the grave site, maybe all of that would have stopped. Maybe.
But how would Paul know that they brought it back to the grave site?
Maybe. Well, my idea is the same way as like how he came out of the stuff. Well, actually, he
was tromping around the woods. He went up to the gravesite. He saw Babe's skull with part of like the horn missing, and that's how we knew it was missing. So let's say the guy did bring it back. I'm putting way too much thought and analysis into this movie. But how would he know if the guy? Yeah, if the guy went up, put the horn back, which I thought he just found it on the. But if he put it back, how would Paul know? Because it's not like people could just walk up to him and go, "Hey, Paul, by the way, we put the horn back. Are we good?"
That's true, and. Also, okay, there's two other things there too. First of all, you're right. How do we like it did not even look like he disturbed that grave, or whatever. Like it wasn't like he was walking around, like we don't see the grave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's a grave. I think it's the skull.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we do see like the rib cage, and we see other stuff up there. So I don't know. Maybe it's, just like a mass thing, and there's just bones and everything, everywhere from Babe.
Okay.
And plus, what is Paul doing all this time? I mean, is he just eating animals? Like he's eating just bears? Does he eat people?
Well, my other question is, my other question about that is, how can Paul Bunyan get away being this fucking huge giant? Like, most people would see him, a mile away, like he can't sneak up on people like ninjas, like the fucking movie makes him do, it's kind of ridiculous.
And he does so often. It's all of a sudden he's behind someone, like, okay, you'd hear him fucking walking.
Yeah. And he's pretty slow anyway. So he'd walk and then you'd hear him and then you'd run, and he's terrible with his axe, by the way. Like for a guy named Axe Giant, he is missing like so much, and mainly because if he hit them on target, he would kill them,
Yeah.
Then you have less characters to like,
Yeah, that wasn't in the script, so.
Yeah. That's not in the script. That's
yeah. I mean, it's almost like it's like with the story wise, I think it would have worked better with, we see the past. I don't know. I guess what this is like 50 years ago. Well, crap, no, because then that would still be like how many? Well, they say that he lives like 3 times.
Yeah.
Of what like a normal human would. So I guess this is like 100 years ago or something, as everybody looks like Mormons. But so if you have somebody like that young guy at the very beginning that's new, and everybody's like, okay, don't piss off Babe, don't piss off Paul. He helps us cut down all these trees because we're going to do 20 miles, which was impossible for them to do by themselves. And then the guy goes out to find food and then shoots Babe, not knowing it. And they're like, oh, fuck, here we go. And then that's when Paul comes down and kills everybody. And we get something like that. Like, why would they just go out and shoot Babe? It doesn't make any sense. I know they're hungry, but don't they know of this legend if they live in the area?
I'm not sure. It's weird. I think it's a little confusing, honestly, because now that I'm thinking about it, you're right. Like, there's too much like backstory, to all these different legends or whatever and stuff, and it's just like, and he's growing and it's like, I don't know, like too much.
So ridiculous.
Yeah,
and he just happens to fit everywhere. So that's so it's a good thing that he stopped growing at that height. Otherwise, he wouldn't be above the trees. And then at the end, when he's on that bridge thing, he wouldn't be able to fit through the bridge.
I thought he wasn't going to be able to fit through the bridge. And then I thought he was going to have to duck down the whole time and go like this,
Yeah, just kind of hunch and walk through there or stick his hand through, and try to grab him.
Well, actually, for a very tall guy like that, he wasn't very long, like he didn't really seem to have a lot of way to grab. Like, and I guess he was able to grab the people in the cabin, above them or whatever.
And it felt like his hand kept coming like so slowly and keep coming.
Paul Bunyan was slow, period.
Exactly.
That was his nickname, Old Slow Paul.
Poor Paul Bunyan.
There were so many missed opportunities in this, and especially with the people who worked on it, and it just didn't make sense to me. Like, I like the stuff of them breaking through the house, and that looked good. I thought between the actual thing and it looks like they built a model, so I thought that looked good. But like, he breaks through the top and then goes and grabs the girl, and you would think, okay, so if the young girl is supposed to look like his love, he would stop and then go and grab her,
right,
and take her out. He looks at her for a second, but then he looks at the guy, and then he, so it's like there's so many missed King Kong type moments in this that it's really disappointing. And I'm sorry, who hired that fucking bartender who could not act his way out through a friggin' beer bottle? I mean, he was horrible. So that had to be somebody's dad. Maybe he was the owner of the bar. But God, he was awful. He was horrible. Everybody else was fine. But they literally, I think that's the owner of the bar. Or maybe it's like Gary Jones's dad or something.
It might have been. I'm not sure. I don't even remember what the character's name was. Do you remember?
Yeah,
I remember. I remember he had a yeah. Wait a minute.
I think.
What were you gonna say?
I think maybe was it something like Joe what was the name of the bar?
Yeah, I think it was like Joe's. Yeah. There's a character named Jeb. I don't think it was that. Was it? No.
No, I think Jeb was one of the guys at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, and was I happy to see them die? I'm against guns and I'm against hunting. Man, was I happy to see them get it.
Oh, yeah.
That was nice.
Anyone would be.
All right. So let's go to the cast members here. The girl that played CB Tanner, she's the lead in a way, but she's not really the lead, I don't even know if this really had a lead, because like
not really.
Paul Bunyan was the lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she Amber Connor, she had done a few things. Nothing I've really heard of. A lot of she's no, she's an anime girl. Okay, that's why she does a lot of anime. Wouldn't know any of these. And then Joe Estevez, who we're gonna have a lot of movies this year with Joe Estevez. Actually, interesting.
I would hope.
I mean, you just can't have a year without Joe Estevez.
You can't have enough Joe Estevez.
No. All right, and then Dan Haggerty was Foreman Bill, and he was great.
Oh, the poor great Dan Haggerty.
Yeah,
I love him.
I saw the Life and Times of Grizzly Adams in at the theater when I was a kid, like 10 times, and then I watched the show like religiously. It was so sad to see what he turned out to be.
Oh. And then Thomas Downey, Sergeant Hoke, who for a while I kept calling him Sergeant Hulk because that's what I thought he was saying at first, and then it's Hoke, and then they made like a hokey dokey joke or something to him or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh god. But Thomas Downey was in a lot of asylum films. A lot of Lee Scott asylum films in the early days of like the asylum. He was in like King of the Lost World and which, speaking of King Kong, type stuff. Transmorphers, Frankenstein Reborn. I mean, just ton of those things. But I really liked it. He was in Jolly Roger, playing a cop. But in this, he is I think he's a military guy. He's like an army guy,
I just kept calling him a cop. That's the vibe I got off him, but
I thought so first. And then whenever he would say stuff like blah 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 blah, right? I was like, oh yep, he's a military guy. All right.
His character was
well, they were
great.
going for Full Metal Jacket, but it failed.
Yeah. Miserably.
Maybe it was like
he's no R. Lee, that's for sure.
Oh no. But yeah, he was I could see the Full Metal Jacket thing. But I like I could see what they were trying to do with that, but no, didn't work. Tim Lovelace, who worked a lot with Gary Jones, he played Sheriff Tanner. I really liked him. At first I was like, is this guy gonna come back? Because he was the father of the main girl.
Yeah.
By the way, that relationship was strange. I'm not gonna lie.
Very.
He called her babe. I thought that was weird. At the end of the movie, he's like, "Come on, babe," and I'm like, "Ooh, is she your girlfriend?"
No, that was
that was strange.
Why are you calling your daughter babe?
Yeah.
Why don't you just go kiss her on the lips while you're at it too?
Oh God.
I mean, he did sort of turn that one girl down, so I don't know. Maybe there's something else going on. It was strange because there was one point where, okay, so in these sort of movies, there's a little bit of time for like bickering, or for like there's a little time for there's like a scene where they're trying. He's like, "You're gonna drive, right?" And then usually the girl would be like, "No, I'm not gonna let you go," and blah 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 blah. She doesn't do any of that. She does not talk. She doesn't say a word. And then he goes, "No time to argue." I'm like, she didn't. She was like, "Okay, you're gonna die. If you die."
Well, it's because she wasn't drunk. She can only drive when she's drunk.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Then why did she drive?
I don't know. There's just some stuff in here that said that just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yep. And then Jesse Cove, who's actually the son of Martin Cove, who you can actually see on Cobra Kai. He was in Cobra Kai.
Oh, shit.
I think season 3. Yeah, when they do the flashback scenes of young was it Kreese. He is the bully in Cobra Kai who bullies the young Kreese. So I always thought he was going to be Kreese because I knew he was going to be in the movie. I'm friends with show. I'm friends with him on Facebook, but I did not know he was going to play. Jesus,
Drum
What happened? Earthquake?
All good.
And then
Nothing to see here.
so he was great. I love seeing him in the role as Zach. He was the guy that started this whole thing. I thought he did a good. I mean, he played that kind of teenager guy that was just sort of jerky, and whatnot. Christina Koff, I think that's her name. Koff played Ms. K, aka Sam. That was her, I guess her name. Whatever. She was. I don't remember what else she's been in. I don't think she's really been in a lot. So I'm looking at the stuff. I've never heard of many of this stuff. A movie called Demon Hole I have heard of. I might even own that movie. A few other things. So then there's Jill Evan, who played Trish, the red hair girl who tried to get with Jack. I thought she was pretty good. She did a decent job. And then I want to say it says Marty, and I want to say Marty was the black guy in the movie, the one that the hacker guy. Yeah, I think that was him, and I thought he did a pretty good job. It's just I felt like there was a moment where I really thought it was weird, because like he got all mad when that girl got killed, but like there was like pauses and stuff, that just
like there was some weird relationship going on there.
Yeah, which I don't mind, but like it really didn't set it up well enough, like he got really upset, like you killed her, right? And then I forgot, how did he die? He died a certain way.
I honestly can't remember.
I can't either. That's sad.
I told you I had fun watching it, but the characters were.
Well, he gets hit with the hand in the house. Then the girl gets picked up. He runs outside. And I think that's where she gets thrown into the tree. So that's where he has to die, like right there. So what happens after the girl gets thrown in the tree?
I'm trying to remember. I just saw it recently, like a little earlier. I'm thinking he ended up.
So did I. I watched it. I watched it earlier, but I can't remember.
I watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow, was his character that lame that we just can't remember it? Is he that forgettable?
No, because I can remember Jesse Cove getting the thing through his stomach, Yeah, and I can remember Joe Estevez getting the axe to the head. Was there? And I can remember that guy being there when he
gets beheaded.
When they shot at him because with the tranquilizer, because he was like, "You're gonna die now."
No, the black guy gets the shotgun chest.
The what? The shotgun.
Joe shoots him.
Oh yes, you're right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, remember Joe's holding the shotgun on them. It's the sheriff. The two girls, and then the black guy, and then he
Oh man, we sort of lost you again.
Yeah,
it was doing so well. All right, hey everybody, sorry we're back. There's some technical difficulties, but we got it. I think we got to figure it out. So we're talking before about the fact that it was really strange. The guy just kind of held the gun right on his chest and then let the guy shoot him. Pretty much, he like jumps in front of the gun and then just lets him shoot him, and then he's like laying on the ground complaining about it. So. As you do.
Well, he does some humor. He's like, is it bad type of thing. You know,
Yeah.
Was that humor?
Oh.
I think it was meant to be. Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was
But-
literally that dumb. I don't know.
I mean, you never know in these types of movies.
But before I sent you the virus from the unspecified country of unknown origin that knocked us off, I was going to say I thought that it took way too long for the first murder to happen. So minus the pre-credit kills, it took 40 minutes for the first person to die. That's way too long, and it's 90 minutes. It could have been shorter.
Yeah, that definitely takes too long, but for some reason to me it didn't even feel like it took that long. But way too long.
That is way too long, but it didn't. Just like Madeline, it did not bother me at all. And I think
it didn't bother me.
I think it was because they showed us the murders in the beginning, and then B, it's because the character development was interesting enough. Like I was into these characters enough at that time to say, all right, I'm going with this, like it didn't bother me. But I could see from if you're getting bored and you're like, when are these guys going to die?
Yeah. That's what you're watching the movie for.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it would have been sort of hard for them to just jump into it because like, what would they have done? Like, somebody leave the cabin and go out in the woods and Paul Bunyan's there and kills them. Yeah. And then, they have to go looking for them or, what I mean? Like what could they have done? Because then they just would have gotten their car and drove away and into story.
But it's a lot of toes on the line and hurry up and do all this stuff. The woman that's there is supposed to be part of a group that are supposed to help them. Okay, so if we want character development, have them sit down in one of those circles, get the chairs, and then you tell a little bit about each person. Because all that guy kept doing was just, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. I don't really see how jogging 2 miles is going to make them better people.
Well,
no, me neither.
We did get that, though, in the campfire scene. Where
I was just going to say that.
Normally, you see a campfire scene, they're telling ghost stories. This time, they were telling scary stories, but about how they got into this mess. And I thought that was pretty fucking cool. Like, they took the ghost story aspect and kind of turned it a little bit. And that,
I like that scene.
Yeah. I mean, I thought when Joe Estevez got in there, it got a little a bit too goofy, but
Oh no, there is no such thing as too goofy when it comes to Joe Estevez.
But yeah, he was an interesting choice for that. But I liked it, it didn't bother me at all. Like, I loved Joe, like no matter what. I just love that he was this hermit, and then at one point he goes and makes a sandwich or whatever, and they're like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm making myself a snack. I'm gonna go sleep in this guy's bed." He's like, he's like, "I don't get to sleep in a bed. I'm gonna go fucking sleep in a bed." If he's gonna die, he's gonna die sleep, and have a good night's sleep before then.
Exactly.
No, he's the best thing in it. Yeah,
he definitely is. And had anybody else played that role, I think they would have done it a lot differently.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think all of them were like, okay, we're making a movie, so we're going to take this all seriously. And Joe's like, fuck it, I've done enough of these, and this is a film about a killer, Paul Bunyan. Oh, I'm just going to eat this up. I'm just going to have fun. Because he's in a completely different movie.
That is true. Like I saw him in Disaster Wars, and he was so straight and so serious, and it kind of annoyed me because I'm like, this movie needs something else, So he probably wanted to be more, in that movie, and they told him not to. But Gary Jones is like, dude, just fucking go. Paul Bunyan.
Just do your thing. Just do your thing.
That's what we hired you for, man. Just be fucking Joe Estevez. And he was absolutely, So we love Joe at Indie Film Cafe. You know, so who doesn't? You know,
Has he ever played the president? Has he ever played the president, like of the United States,
I feel like he has.
like Martin Sheen did?
I feel like he would have, but I can't place if he did or didn't.
If he hasn't, we'll put him in my world as the president. He's coming in.
He has to play the president. I watched all of the West Wing, and I was so hoping for him to pop up at some point as, the president's brother, since Renee Estevez is in it.
All right, so our buddy James Balsamo had him in Alien Danger with Raven Vince Linder, which I'm in as well as a small little cameo, as not the president.
So, not the president?
That's his character name, not the president.
Okay.
So he hasn't just played. I'm trying to look up and see if he's played the president in anything. President, whatever. Oh, yep. President Jason Davidson and Decker TV show.
Okay.
I'm sure he's played a president in something else too.
Probably.
He's one of the vice president in Gangsters Incorporated. He was in Samurai Cop 2, Deadly Vengeance. Oh God, I
would not doubt it.
I gotta see that. I know
because even Charlie Sheen played. Who did he play in Machete 2 or Machete? I forget which one he was in.
He played the president, didn't he?
Okay, so he. Yeah.
So was he the president in Machete 2? People are watching. So. People are watching this going. I
love Machete Kills. I don't care.
He was President James Marshall and Corruption.
I liked both of them.
Yeah, he's played the president a few times.
Of course he has.
Well, I mean, he's one of those guys that,
good.
Like he looks like he played the president, Like if you're gonna have anybody, get Joe Estevez to play the president. Fuck, I'm looking up some more, but nah.
Well, it just can't be Martin Sheen,
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's like, my brother can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Why not? All right. So moving on to I guess I guess it's about that time anyway. We'll start doing our rating system. Unless there's anything else you guys wanted to make sure you guys talked about on this.
I didn't really do that many notes this time. It's actually only half a page, really, and I went through them all.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, surprisingly.
Yeah. Well, here we go. We'll do this then. We'll start doing our review. So our rating system is the Stinkometer this time. We never do a rating system on 31 days, but I figured this year let's switch it up. We'll have 3 people and we'll do the rating system, the Stinkometer. Stinkometer works on a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being really good, a good movie, the exact opposite of what a normal 1 to 10 scale would be, and 10 being very stinky and bad and whatever you want to call it. And if you feel kind of like you can't decide whether or not it's a 5 or a 6, you give it a 5.5 kind of thing. So I guess John, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I was originally going to give this a 5 because I.
Oh my God. Of course, when we're doing the rating, it has to fuck up.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. Are you there, John? Is it fucking up for you too?
Yeah, I can't.
I do.
What?
Okay, now you're back. Now you're back. All right, we got you. We got you.
Say your rating quick.
My rating was 5. It was 5 because the film was kind of meh, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I didn't think the acting was horrible, but it wasn't great, except for the bartender was horrible. So the whole thing was kind of meh to me because I thought that if you're gonna go Paul Bunyan, go all the way with it. All the way with it. Destroy that folklore with him. but now after talking about it, I'm going to change it. I'm actually going to make it I'm going to give it a 7.
Oh, you went higher. Okay.
Yeah. So I went stinkier because talking about it made me realize it was not well written.
Okay. What about you, Madeline?
Oh, I mean, I find great joy out of these like sci-fi channel type of movies. And
I do too.
I grew up watching dumb shit like this on Sci-Fi Channel with, monsters, bad CG, and whatever, I mean, I honestly had a blast with it, and I think it was exactly what I needed. And, I'm just going to give it a 4. It's not like a great movie, but my God, invite some friends over, have a couple beers, enjoy yourself, laugh. You could do it a lot worse. It's fun for what it is. John said, they could have gone more with, the story and everything. And for the people involved, it probably should have been better, but it's fun enough.
I'll agree. I'll agree with you. I think it was, I think it was it was fun. It was stupid. There was a lot of mistakes that everybody makes. The writing wasn't the greatest. I'll agree with John on that. But I would say a 4 because I was going to give it a 3 originally, and I kind of went up a little bit, because because with talking to you guys, I kind of realized it was, it had some moments that weren't great, and silly and stupid, but like, that's what you expect in a silly sci-fi style movie.
Yeah.
And
with a title like this.
And if it did or didn't go to SyFy, which it probably did, at least for a little bit. So you probably did see it on SyFy. If it, went to SyFy, this is the kind of thing that they love. It's got every single like cross, like across the list off. So I really enjoyed it. I had a fun time. I couldn't rate it really that stinky because it's something I'd probably watch over and over again, myself personally and with friends. Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
Wow. And you don't drink or do drugs or anything. So man, that's a hard watch over and over and over again.
It's not that hard of a watch. I think what makes it fun is the military guy, Thomas Downey's character. He's hilarious. He makes it for me, and then so does Joe Estevez. There's so much fun in that movie that, like, all the other characters that take it seriously are doing it probably because they can't keep up with the other guys, so they might as well just be in the background, in a way, but yeah, there's problems with the movie and problems with the script, but like, it's better than Jolly Roger, honestly.
Well, I don't know about that.
Have you seen Jolly Roger?
Yes, I have.
Oh, when was the last time you saw it?
Years ago. It was years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't seen.
But isn't that John Carl Buechler as Jolly Roger?
Is he?
I think that's him. Yeah. So that makes it fun right there.
No. Rhett Giles did Jolly Roger.
Oh, was he? Oh, maybe Buechler. No, Buechler did the effects. I thought Buechler was involved in that.
I don't know. Let me look that up real quick because I don't know. I know it was directed by Gary Jones, who,
that's one of the reasons why I watched it. Yeah.
It doesn't say.
It's funny. I give this such a bad rating, but what was that film that you said Paul hates me for giving a good review to?
Alien Beasts.
Yeah, Alien Beasts.
Is that the
one of the worst
one? Is that the shot on video movie?
Yeah,
I own that, and I still haven't brought myself to watch it. It's got like 3 versions. I started like watching. I was like, oh, I gotta watch this another time. I love shot on video.
You gotta watch it with some friends when you're fucking wasted. Honestly,
I gotta know which version to watch. There's like 3 different fucking cuts.
You're friends with Paul, right?
Yeah.
Go talk to Paul. Paul knows this shit.
But
I would start from
need to
whatever date is oldest. Go whatever date is oldest up. Then that way you know which ones were done first. So
I feel
that was one of those.
I'll enjoy it.
I got so technical with that film that it just, from what Jonathan told me, Paul was so annoyed. Because I'm like, because you can see how he's moving the camera and he knows the direction of which way it goes. And it was so I think I actually gave it a better review than what you guys thought. But yet I gave this a shit review, and it's competently made.
Though was a 90210 shark attack you eviscerated, but that itself is such a poorly
that
made
is a garbage movie. That is really a garbage movie.
Remember, I gave it an okay review just because it was so memorable because of how awful it is. It's something about it I always remembered.
Yeah, well,
it earned something for that.
To me, it doesn't earn shit for that because, because it's a memorable movie of being shitty, that still makes it a shitty movie. That's just memorable.
Oh, I can't argue with that.
I don't know. I can't.
And I mean, personally, I'm a little angry at David Dakota. I was friends with him on Facebook. He unfriended me, and now I'm just following, and I can't friend him again, and that annoyed the shit out of me. And it's like, dude, what the hell did I do to you? I didn't do anything. What?
He unfriended me too, so don't take it to.
It's like one of my all-time favorite bad movies is Creepazoids. I own it on DVD and Blu-ray, and I used to have the script for it because the guy who plays Jesse in that I'm actually friends with. He's in some of my student films.
Oh,
so
wow.
He was the first guy to die. Michael. He's the first guy to die in the film, and I met him. It was funny as I was working at a Tower Records, and he was working below at like a Circuit City or something. And I was like, oh my God, so I became friends with him, and he was in a bunch of my student films. Yeah. So damn you, David Dakota. That made me mad.
I don't think he's on Facebook anymore, to be honest. Because I just looked him up and he's not on there. And I thought, oh shit, really? I was like, did he block me? And then no, I think he left Facebook. So it might not be.
He's probably just got a page to have people follow, because once you have 5,000 friends, you can't anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe just a regular page that someone manages.
Plus, when does that
have left Facebook?
When does he have fucking time to be on Facebook? He's like making this Lifetime movie every day. The
wrong Lifetime movie.
All
the wrong Lifetime movies.
There's a Lifetime movie right there. The wrong Lifetime movie. And then you take all the Lifetime movies and put them into one film.
That's true.
You
have like the babysitter and the best friend and the student and all these different things.
Throw it all into.
They're all wrong.
And they're all wrong.
The wrong Lifetime movie. This Saturday at 7 p.m.
on Lifetime.
Get on this, David Dakota.
I'd watch that in a heartbeat. We gotta pitch that. If we could pitch that and write it for him, I bet he would do it. If
I don't see why not.
What else?
Oh, but hold on, Jonathan, you still haven't given. Did you give us your review?
Oh yeah, I said 4.
Oh, you did say 4. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Copycat.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I did copy, but that was my thing. So I was.
But 2 4s equal an 8, so that means you guys hated it more than I did.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
That's not how it works. But we'll let you. We'll let you.
I think that's the way it works. I think it does. I think it does.
Okay. Well, yeah, we hate it one more than you do, together combined.
I just don't think I would ever really watch this again. If I had the choice, I would probably just pick something else. Like I said, it's like a 5, but the story is a 7. Mediocre. So the movie is a 5, but the story is a 7. And it's just meh for me. It's not bloody enough. There's no nudity in it. There's no, or is there? No, there is nudity because the girl takes her top off in the
there's nudity
the tent. So I take that back. So it's still meh. It's just meh.
I mean, it was okay for that, but like
I'll go
don't know,
watch Maxim Zool again.
Cool. I mean, that was kind of fun, you know.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's on YouTube, right? I don't know if we should be
Yeah, I
giving
believe it's still on there.
Mhm.
Yeah, my old roommate made it. It's with Adam West.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Only available on VHS.
and then that guy told us that like his father made them or something, he made another movie. So on the remember I sent you that thing, the comment on YouTube. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember.
the for the director?
Yeah. I don't think it was a director. I think it was a producer. So the producer's son said that the producer had also made another, movie, and you're like, oh, we should check that out.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. Anyway. So yeah. So thank you guys. This has been awesome. I love having you guys back. You guys will be back on other shit too, I'm sure. I mean,
Always.
yeah. Well, you two are like two of my go-to people that's always on everything I do.
Aww.
So, yeah,
Aww.
I can always count on you guys.
Aww.
There's a few people I can always count on.
I'm always happy to.
Oh, you did that on purpose. Okay. For a second, I really thought you froze.
That was classic.
I know.
That was a good freeze.
I think it really
You just needed the cat to walk behind me.
I think you did freeze for like a split second, though. It did look like it. So I don't know. Maybe you did a good job. I don't know. But I was like, okay, that would have been funny. All right. Well, thank you guys. You guys stick around. Everybody else, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Join us next I guess tomorrow for another day of indie horror. Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.